Hello, I am Yuni. Today I want to tell about SCP Containment Breach and SCP Secret Laboratory clones, and why I don't recommend you, as a SCP game developer, to make another clone. SCP Containment Breach first public version appeared in 2012. At that time, it was an unfinished game. There was no endings and a lot of bugs. The game quickly attracted community as a first SCP game that had a whole facility, not only one SCP, as it was in SCP-087 or SCP-682 games, and created a new genre of SCP games, a containment breach. Also, SCP Containment Breach was using a procedural map generator, which many clones and other SCP games used since this game. The first clones of this game appeared back in 2014, when the original game was near release. They weren't known and were quickly abandoned, except one, the Containment Breach port to Irrlicht engine, which was maintained by the original game's developer until 2016. The first clones that really attracted community was Containment Breach Unity Edition, that came out in 2016, and Secret Laboratory, that came out in late 2017. About latter I will speak further. SCP Unity was cancelled in January 2021, while Secret Laboratory continues up to video creation day, and probably will continue, because they get good income from donators, and their team, fortunately, does not fall apart, unlike SCP Unity. SCP Secret Laboratory's idea was not new. Earlier SCP Containment Breach was ported to Gary's mod. It also featured multiplayer game, but had limitations of Source 1 engine and Gary's mod. Examples of it were lack of procedural map generation. At that time known mostly in Poland, Hubert Moszka decided to make multiplayer version of Containment Breach as a standalone Unity game. SCP Secret Laboratory, when it was finished in late December 2017, attracted new wave of gamers around the world. SCP Secret Laboratory, along with SCP Unity and original SCP Containment Breach, began to raise the popularity of SCP Foundation in 2019. Many YouTubers saw the rising popularity of SCP Foundation community and began to make children-targeted videos about mostly popular SCP objects, like SCP Containment Breach ones and other ones, such as 3008, 5000 and even non-SCP subjects, that erroneously were titled as SCP, such as Siren Head, as 6789, Slenderman, as 582. These SCPs, especially 096 and 3008, began to port to Roblox, and this also increased popularity of SCP community. There were also good news for SCP community. Most SCP movies were made around 2019-2021, like SCP-096 short film, SCP Overlord. The second wave of cloning Containment Breach began in 2020-2021. Many games were created with different names. They were not so popular, because they were too many, and they were identical. Same popular SCP objects were used again and again. SCP Containment Breach clones published peak was in 2022-2023. Some were quite good, some not good, but it became harder to achieve attention by creating that type of games, and developers decided that it's time to clone SCP Secret Laboratory. But the developers didn't take into account one thing. As SCP Secret Laboratory was a multiplayer game, the success of this game depends on player amount. If a SCP Secret Laboratory clone will just copy the original game, for example, the same SCP objects, like SCP-173, 106, 939, 096, 049 and 079, same Containment Breach genre, same locations, players will prefer the original game to the clone. I was also developed such clone in the past. It was called SCP Site Online. But the game did not gain popularity, and eventually, I discontinued it before the release. If you already began to create an SCP game, just continue to develop your work. But don't forget to add more not so popular SCPs, such as SCP-162, and try to reduce SCP Containment Breach assets to minimum amount. Also, if you want to create an SCP game, it should be free. Yes, the license allows to make it paid, but if you are a small team, or single person, and does not have an unique in-game story, unlike paid large SCP single-player games, like SCP Secret Files and SCP Fragmented Minds, your game will most likely fail. If you didn't start developing an SCP game, I want to note that Containment Breach genre became overused. I recommend to use other genres to attract more players. In this video, I have been told the reasons why I don't recommend you to create SCP Containment Breach and SCP Secret Laboratory clone nowadays. If you really want, you can create this type of game, but for receiving some attention you need to make this game unique. Goodbye.